Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for being here and giving us a chance to show you how powerful the VIROO content generation tools are. As you have seen, VIROO is all Unity based, so that's everything you need to know to start creating content. Let's jump to my computer to see how easy the process is. So as you can see, I'm inside Unity and I have the Scene Generator Unity project opened. A Scene Generator is a Unity project that we give our creators to start creating immersive content for VIROO. One of the most important tools that this project includes is the VIROO plugin. This allows creators to configure what we call the arena. The arena is the surface where our content is going to be placed. If you know that your content is going to be deployed in a large-scale immersive VIROO room, you need to know where the boundaries of these rooms are. Whenever we made an installation of a VIROO room, we always provide the arena file. This allows creators to check this box to visualize the morphology of the room inside the Unity project. So now I know that all the 3D content that I want to include in my project needs to be placed inside these rooms. The other important part of the VIROO plugin is the VIROO Scene Publisher, which I will talk about later. Now let's jump to one of the template scenes that we provide inside this project. VIROO Lab is the scene that we included to showcase all the predefined components that we have included in this project and that will allow creators to create immersive content without having to program a single line of code. Just to have a look, I can press play and I can navigate my scene. I here have different elements and objects, and all of them contains an example of a predefined component included in VIROO. For example, if I go to this place, there's a trigger waiting for the user to enter, and once this happens, it will launch an action that will play a video in the wall. So just to see how it goes. So as you can see, we have other actions such as hiding objects, changes the color of an object to a random color, or even if I have more than one action assigned to an object, we have created a floating menu that will allow me to select the desired action. In this case, I can bring back my cube, I can change the color of the cube at the right, or of course I can close the menu. As you can see, this menu always pops up depending on the player's position. And of course, it's fully customizable. We also have a predefined action that will allow me to launch Unity events. So in this case, I can launch an animation that is contained in this model. This animation is a more complex animation that has been created in Maya. We have another action that allows me to instance certain objects. So I can make copies or new elements and pop them in my scenery. I have an action to rotate objects, to show up text and change the text depending on the status of an object. And of course, I can interact with groups of objects instead of going one by one. So I can hide the entire group and show all the group all at once. As you can see, all the interactions I'm making are being from a distance. I'm simulating with this ray interaction that I'm pointing with my controller to an object and I'm pressing trigger to launch the action. But what about touching objects? Of course, I can go back to the other room and do that. We have here an action waiting for the user to touch the cube and launch the corresponding action. So in this case, I will touch it with the left controller and the sphere will go up. Whenever I touch the object again, the action will launch. So basically, I can interact with my objects, pointing at them, touching them, or just reaching a certain point in the scene. Going to another example, we have here another scene. In this case, I have here a car showroom where we have applied some of these interactions and actions that you have just seen. So in this case, if I press play, you can see what kind of content you can create. I have here a ray interaction assigned to the car, and whenever I press trigger, the car appears. And I have here a full menu that will allow me to change the color of my car, turn on the lights and turn it off again. And of course, I can go to my car and touch the door to open it. If I go inside, I can have a look at all the stream details of the model, and we even have included a video here. So again, I can go off the car, I can open the bonnet, I can open the other door, and again, I can do that just by touching it. So this is an example of a rich content that you can create using the same interactions that you have just seen. But now we will have a look at how to create these actions. So in this case, I can select the cover and I will just hide it. And just to see how the rotate action has been applied, I can select my door. And as you can see, the only thing that this door contains is a box collider and a trigger interaction component. This is one of the predefined components that you can find inside VIROO. All those components are located here in a folder called VIROO, where you can find the actions and interactions that are already predefined for you. Components such as activating an action, an object, move an object, play the sound, rotate an object, run multiple actions, scale an object, or even access Unity events. And as already we've seen before, we have the interactions such as the ray interaction or the trigger interaction. So in this case, to make the door open whenever I touch it, we've created a box collider here at the handle, and we've included the trigger interaction component. This trigger interaction component is receiving the action that we have created and the element that needs to interact with the trigger to launch the action. In this case, if I go to the config component, I have here a trigger interactable config component, also one of the ones that we have predefined, and we are telling the component that we want the left hand and the right hand being able to trigger the action. The other thing we need to create is the action itself. So if I go back to my door, I can find the action dropped here. If I select the action and go to it, this is a component called rotate action. We have given it a name, the action starts enabled. We have specified which game object we want to rotate, put the angles that we want to rotate it to, tell that we want the action to be played in reverse if we interact with the trigger again, and specify that we want the action to take 3 seconds to complete. So just to see how easy it is to create these actions, we will create one from scratch. In this case, I'm going to go to my root. I'm going to create a new cube. I will move the cube here. And because this cube already contains a box collider, to interact with it, I just need to go to my VIROO folder, select interactions, and select how I want to interact with this object. In this case, I will select the ray interaction. So as you can see now, the ray interaction is going to launch 0 actions because I haven't specified one yet. But if I press play, I can go to my cube and see that the ray interaction is already working because I have this yellow dot here that is telling me that I can interact with it. So the only thing I need to do is to add another component, go to VIROO, actions, and I will select my scale action. This component, of course, is going to allow me to scale my cube. So I will give it a name, scale cube. I will drag and drop the object I want to interact with, and I will tell it that I want this cube to be half his size whenever I interact with it. I will check the box reverse after play. The scale action will take 3 seconds, and now my action is configured. The only thing I need to remember is to drag and drop my action to my ray interaction component. Now I can jump back to my scene, walk to my cube, and if I press the trigger, the cube will scale down just as I have specified before. If I press the trigger again, the cube will go back to its original size. So as you can see, it's really that simple to start creating content in VIROO. Just to show the last example, we have here another scene, which is a simulation of a training pill. All that you are about to see has been created with the predefined components that are included in VIROO. So again, you don't need to have any programming knowledge to create this kind of contents. If I press play, I will jump to my demo. We have here a circle with a trigger waiting for the user to jump. And whenever I start,
Hello, I welcome you to the VIROO repair shop. Please press the button to open the hatches.
so I will press the button.
It looks like we just received a jet engine. You can use the screen to inspect the different parts or approach and interact directly with them.
And now I can interact with my jet engine to hide the cover and have a better look of the engine itself. Or I can interact with this floating menu to maybe explore the engine. And now I will try to turn on the engine.
Oh, It looks like the engine fuel system is missing. Please take this part and put it back in place.
So as you can see, we can even include this kind of variables. So now I will grab my object and I will place it right here.
Perfect. The engine seems to be working properly now. You can now turn it on to check its operation.
Now that my engine is fixed, I can turn on the engine. I can explore it again. Collapse again. The great thing about VIROO is that once all the content is created, I can go to my VIROO plugin, select Scene Publisher, and to publish the content, the only thing I need to do is to give it a name, select the scene that I'm working with, in this case, the jet engine demo, select an output path, and optionally, if I have used any custom scripts that of course I still can use, so I have no limitation to create my content, I can create an assembly and drop it here. If I have included any kind of media such a video, I just need to include that video in my streaming assets folder and include it here. Finally, I will publish my content, and in a matter of minutes, I will create a .VIROO file. Then, I need to go to my VIROO portal, enter with my credentials, go to my files, here in the VIROO folder, go to Scene Loader, and just drag and drop my file here. As you can see, here I already have lots of scenes that have been created in VIROO. Once my content is uploaded, I will open my VIROO single player application. I will create a new session, select the app Scene Loader, select the content that I want to launch, in this case the jet engine demo, and start a session. The application will automatically detect if I have the latest version of the content and then load it if not. Once the session is being created, I have a session ID that I can share with my colleagues, and I can join the session by pressing play. I will specify my name and select if I want to join using a VR headset or the keyboard and mouse. In this case, I will join using my keyboard and mouse. Finally, I will press play, and now I can have the same content that I've just created in Unity running in VIROO. Remember that the great thing about VIROO is that all the content that you are creating in Unity is going to work in a multi-user environment and is going to be compatible with all the mainstream devices out there. You will only need to worry about creating your content. So wherever you are an advanced programmer or not, VIROO is a really helpful tool to start creating rich multi-user immersive content. Thanks everyone for your time. I hope you see you soon.